This is grade 5, module 2, lesson 6, and this objective is to connect area models and the distributive property to partial products of the standard algorithm with renaming. So this time you'll see that it's a little different from the previous lesson. I'm going to use homework problem number 1A for the example. Number 1 says to draw an area model, then solve using the standard algorithm, and we talked about that last time. It's the standard algorithm, is what you're probably familiar with as a parent. Use arrows to match the partial products from your area model to the partial products in the algorithm. Okay. So let me clear this off here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by drawing my area model. And this time it's going to be a little bit different than what we did from the previous lesson. So my area model now is going to have 4 rectangles. And I have my tens place up here, which is 20, and the 7 on the side here. And I'm decomposing 36 to make 30 and 6 here. Okay, and it's pretty important to keep the ones placed on the top here just so there's a smooth transition over to the standard algorithm for the students. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find the area of each one of my rectangles. So if I'm looking at this rectangle right here, I know that it's 6 times 20, and 6 times 20 is pretty easy mental math. It's 120. I'm going to do the rectangle next to it over here. And this one's a little bit trickier for some students. It's hard for them to see the connection to the 6 here. So it's 6 times 7, which is 42. I have this bottom rectangle right here, and it's 30 times 20, and again it is a little tough to see the connection for the 20, but if they know about the rectangles they do know that that side is 20 as well. So 20 times 30 is 600, and finding the area of this last rectangle here is 30 times 7, which is 210. So now they're going to add the numbers. They're going to add these 2 numbers here and these 2 numbers here. And that's going to give them an answer. 120 plus 42 is 162. And then they have 600 plus 210, which is 810. Okay, there's a smooth transition right here. We're going to move these numbers over. And I have 162 for this partial product and 810 for this partial product. Adding those together, I have an answer of 972. So I always like to just box my answers in red. It's just easy to see that way. Okay, so this is how we're going to do our area models. Again, this is the area model right here. This whole part, okay? And the standard algorithm, which you're probably used to as a parent. I feel like that's the way we learned. Little old-fashioned math right there. Again, the area model gives a student a deeper understanding, and more so than the standard algorithm does. So I'm going to do another problem, and I'm going to do number 4 from the homework, and it says Jason buys a car and pays by installments. Each installment is $567 per month. After 48 months, Jason owes $1,250. What is the total price of the vehicle? So I'll start out with my target sentence. Okay, the target sentence says the total price of the vehicle is blank. So there's a few things that are going on in this problem, and I feel like this is a real-world situation, and the students, when they get older, may find themselves in this situation. So the story is Jason, he buys his car, and his car payment is $567, and that's a month. So after 48 months, he still owes $1,250. That's some pretty important information right there. So what that's saying is that for 48 months, he pays $567. but he still owes more money, so that has to be included to get the total price of the vehicle. So we actually have to add that amount here, and that's going to equal the total price. This is the part where students, they get tricked a little bit because there's an additional step there. So they could use their previous skill about finding a reasonable answer, and they can just do an estimate. So I would do 600 times 50, and then I'll just leave this the same, 1,250, and that would be $30,000 plus 1,250. So the reasonable estimate, I'm just going to write over on the side so I can erase the board, is around $31,250. That's the reasonable estimate for the car. So let me erase that. It's going to be less than that because we're only multiplying it by 48 instead of 50, and we're multiplying 567 instead of 600. So I know it's going to be less than that. So I know my answer is going to be less than that. Let me just, okay. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and solve this problem using the area model, and this time we have this 500, so we're going to need more than just the 2 by 2 rectangles. So we have 500, 60, and 7, and I have 48 over on the side. Let me draw my boxes and my rectangle here. And we're going to solve it very similarly to the 2 by 2 rectangle. So I have 4,000 here. Multiplying 60 times 8 is 480, and 8 times 7 is 56. And I have 500 times, oh, you know what, I made a mistake right here. It's not 48, it's actually 40. So 40 times 500 is 20,000. 40 times 60 is 2,400. And 40 times 7 is 280. And now I'm adding the partial products all the way across, and I have 4,536, and I have 22,680. When I'm doing this with the standard algorithm, I have 567 times 48. Oops, 48. And I can write my partial products down here. Adding those together. Okay, so when I multiply 567 times 48, I have an answer of 27,216. This is where a lot of kids stop. But remember, I have to add the 1,250. So I'm going to erase the area model just to make room here. And we're going to have to add 27,216 and 1,250. So let me just do that right here. And we're adding those together. And we have a total of 28,466, which is a realistic total for a car. Okay? Just remind the students, do not forget the second step here. A lot of them forget to add the 1,250.